Lady Ballers drops the trailer has offended people, and that's probably a good thing. So let me go over to you're just not going to believe it. There's lefties that are angry that Daily Wire is mocking trans athletes with their new movie called Lady Ballers. So this is it's called Out. If you get what I'm saying. This trailer for a quote comedy film about trans athlete is the worst thing we've ever seen. Now, I want to make sure we're clear. This is just a trailer for a movie, and it's quote the worst thing that they've ever seen. That's how sensitive they are. But you can see the absurdity just in the trailer, right? We were more bothered by the lack of talent and skill in this movie than by the transphobia. So I don't know if they actually means they screened it or not. So anyway, quote, it's a well known fact that right wingers cannot make good art and don't have a sense of humor. See, so I love right out of the gate. So who doesn't have a sense of humor? Who is not laughing at themselves? Like, how much do the Christians have to endure before you say they've lost their sense of humor? Like, how much of being a punching bag does Trump supporters need to be before they're said that they were lost their sense of humor? Like, it's not as though there's equal punches coming from every direction or anything like that. I will admit, like these arenas are dominated predominantly by lefties and those type of folks, but that doesn't mean they can't make good art or don't have a good sense of humor. So, quote, in a world where there's women's sports being transformed, the Daily Wire calls foul the most triggering comedy of the year. If you can't beat them, if you can beat them, join them. So it's basically about 50-year-old white man by nature being a man is a better athlete than any woman could ever hope to be. You see, women are just factually bad at sports, the movie states. So um, there's not going to be any sort of frame of reference or context or actual realization of the fact that like we have like an instance where what was it like it was a middle school, right? That a middle school soccer team that actually beat the women's the Olympic team, right? Middle school or high school. So we're not even going to have any of those type of contexts applied to this argument. We're just going to have to live in the fictitious land and of what Daily Wire is mocking and having fun with. So, and basically, it's just I don't know that there's any. This is just it's just all whatever. It's based on the trailer, so they didn't see the movie. They just saw the trailer. It's not clear Jeremy Boring has ever written or acted before. Well, if you had done an IMDb search, you would know that he did. And actually, to be honest, whenever they were founding Daily Wire, I believe he was, quote, the talent. Like they thought it was going to center more around him. So, or if he's ever met a woman in real life. See, this is this cheap punching nonsense. Like it's just, he's married and has a kid or multiple kids. It's so silly. Every joke falls flat. Well, we're going to get to the trailer, and you tell me if the jokes are falling flat because I found this actually hysterical. It's mocking women, athletes, feminists, Dylan Mulvaney, indigenous people. It claims that being trans age is a thing. Yeah, it is a thing. They've tried it. And it just makes very little sense overall, which is interesting because that's not what we're seeing in reality. We're seeing Leah Thomas as this massive dude who failed as a male swimmer and now swims with the ladies and dominates them. We saw this with MMA whenever the man fought the woman under the guise of being a woman and like broke her skull, things like that. So let me get to the trailer because you will see some of the cameo. There's tons of cameos. There's cameos that we don't even see in the trailer. And I think this is actually kind of what makes this even more interesting for me personally was that they themselves are in the film. In a world where women's sports, whatever, are being transformed, it's all very hyperbolic. I like the look on her face, by the way. And she's looking over to this just literally just absurd dude in a wig, like just so ridiculous. And then this, oh my gosh, this shot, it's just incredible. We're not supposed to laugh at this. Like, I mean, it's supposed to be hard to watch on purpose. Like that's the joke. The joke is look the cringe in the audience is the cringe you're supposed to have. But when this is happening in real life, when you're watching, Connecticut track team, these 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 boys now claiming to be girls when like they break every single record. Like it's just the absurdity of everything is exactly what the trailer is going for. Okay? And then you have basically different shots. And I will say there's a moment, uh I guess he's like a gym teacher, an ex-wife or at wife or whatever. But the shot, I love the fact that they have people in masks and stuff. So the shot that's coming up here is the one that I have to give, this one right here. I have to give him the credit for, because she tases him and he goes face down on the table and then falls. I have to be honest, man. If there's going to be this type of hyperbolic physical comedy as well, like hangover type stuff, or maybe things like that, and we're going to push the envelope, kind of like what Tropic Thunder did with having Robert Downey Jr. as the white dude playing the black dude who's not self-aware and all that kind of stuff. Like, if we're going to go there, that this actually could be kind of fun. So all right, so then it's just these ridiculous, absurd scenes that you're not, and they play with the language too, like, oh, you're not, how you dare you, you know, call them out, and this was so good. He is standing there and just barely just throws it, forever distance, right? Here's Matt Walsh, which is just the fact that they could get him to do it, and he's done the man bun thing. Like I'm actually kind of surprised. It must have been like just a few hours of his time or something. So, um, uh, yeah. So there, I don't know everyone, but I know the show that they're on. What's his name? David Cohn is one. Um, I love the joke about, so you're gender fluid, so you could just pretend to be a girl and then I could be a guy in bed. And it's like, that is part of the way the language is being used now. Like, I mean, I understand if people feel it's like these, like, and I look at the whiteboard, how absurd it is. If you don't get that they're mocking you and you can't laugh at yourself, who is the problem here? Them making the jokes or you that can't take the joke? Okay. Obviously, we're setting up the Dylan Mulvaney type parodies. Look at the over the top outfits and stuff. Gosh, it's great. It's just in stare. I found it just. I find the absurdity again. What have I said before? Part of the only reason I like certain Will Ferrell movies is because at least he's fearless. Like, it's not like even good. Sometimes it's just the fearlessness of. And this is so Dylan Mulvaney mocking. Like, it's literally like, I pretend to be a girl. My first day as a girl today, and it's like literally mocking women at the highest level, like just reducing them to these tropes and stereotypes and cliches. It's so insulting to women, and yet we're all supposed to just take it and take it seriously. And the film does such a great job of just shining a light on some of that. So, yeah, this is the joke about soccer, about not being a sport, and there's no one at a WNBA type game. And then the shots of the magazines, I think, are great. Look at this one with Biden. With oh my gosh, that's crazy. White House celebrates International Women's Day. Wow, that's great. Oh, they use that democracy dies in the print. Oh, dies in print instead of darkness. Yeah, yeah. And then Woman of the Year, Alexia, The Power of She. Ted Cruz's cameo. Let's see. All right. That's Seth Dillon, right? I think that's Seth Dillon coming out with the cowgirls. They're not even wearing wigs and stuff like that. And this is where it sets up uh the Andrew. Oh, okay, so we get this is Michael Knowles as an Indian, and oh man, what is her name? She's the one that's going to be Snow White, right? She's got the Egyptian, and then Andrew Clavin making the penis joke, and I think that's where we see Shapiro, right? Yeah, the I don't care joke. and just the absurdity of playing like little kids and stuff, being an age thing. And yeah, this was at least fearlessness. And you know, if we're not going to get anything from Hollywood, why not? I'm not going to tell you it's going to be good, but it doesn't mean I can't laugh at the absurdity. I just rewatched Tropic Thunder for that exact reason. Just spent most of my time shaking my head at the absurdity and the gutsiness of trying to go there with comedy, and that has all been dead for at least 10 to 15 years. Like count the number of good comedies in the last 10 to 15 years, and it's like though they are so generic and vanilla, and this isn't like an original thought or idea. It's the fact that they're just daring to do it now with the new spin on it. Like we've seen this with Tootsie and what's it called, Joanna Man? Is that was that the one where he was pretending? Anyway, White Chicks, right? Rob Schneider, I think, was in that one. So there's been this stuff before, but that's now all banned. You're not supposed to do any of that anymore. So anyway, that's my take on it. I thought it was kind of fun, and I think it's great that they have upset. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. So, and I'd love to hear from you guys. Are you even going to try to watch it? Can you watch it? Let me hear from you.